Hello my friends and welcome to the channel. In a recent video I did of this new players guide series. I did a supplementary called Shards. Check that out if you haven't seen it, and that's important to your progression of the campaign while you're at it, and prepares you well for the later game content. I was asked a couple of questions in the comments. I'll try and address that here just for clarity and further information for you all. The first thing was about shards and upgrading shards, which I may have alluded to in that previous video, but I felt at the time it was a bit advanced content, but you may find this beneficial. So I'll cover the second question, which is about why would I have multiple versions of a different hero type. But for now, let's just focus on the shard upgrading. So let's say you've got a shard. This one is defense rate, a good one to have on many defenses. It increases the attack rate. Now if you notice there, this defense has been upgraded. It's got a potential of upgrading 12 times. It's already fully topped up. Let's have a look at the other ones, just so I may be able to show you the principle. I'll go for one I haven't upgraded. So if I go to upgrade, the initial upgrading methodology, which increases the effectiveness of the shard, is down to this. And for now, I would recommend probably defense medals. They're the easiest ones to accrue, which was covered in the latter part of my shards video about doing the daily missions to accrue several hundred defense medals at once, and then you can buy targeted shards that you want to have in your arsenal. So gold doesn't accrue at the same kind of rate, especially as medals, if you're doing those daily missions. So you might have several hundred. You can have a max of 12,000. I've currently got about 7,500. So I could upgrade this from a 4% increase to 5% for a cost of 1. Now if I'll do that, now you'll notice now I get the potential to upgrade again. And again, now you notice on this instance the upgrade cost has increased to 2 and 3 and 4, so it's on an increase, and you see the relative increase on the gold, it's a lot higher. So stick to medals where you can. So we'll upgrade it all the way. Now if I hold up to the upgrade max, there we are. So it's been upgraded, now it's at 20%. Alright, so let's just look at that. So it's now 16 of 16. Now there's a further property of shards the astute will have spotted, and I probably mentioned it in my video. If I look at this monk's lightning strikes aura, for example, we've got both defense rate and destruction with a gold border. This is known as gilding a shard. So this is actually a 16 of 16. I think the standard rate for defense rate, if I can find the other, is that the one I just upgraded? Bad example. Oh, I don't have another, sorry. I think the base level for defense rate, it might be 12, maximum of 12. So gilding, and I won't be able to do this with the current item, and I'll show you why. But if you go back to the upgrade screen over on this side, you notice this thing about shard gilding, and that's how they become like this. So yeah, the maximum prior to gilding would be 12 levels for defense rate, and when it's gilded you can then progress the upgrade up to 16. The added benefit there is gilded shards are protected from what they call resets of ancient power and will never be down leveled. what that means is, if you go to this screen called Powers, and you can probably only get this once you're into level 50, and then you've started earning ascension points, which I'll cover in a minute. That was the other question, or related to multiple heroes. Yeah, the thing here, you gain 1 ascension talent cap number of points for every 50 ascension levels, and 4 points for each floor past 30. Floor means if you're doing the onslaught mode. The onslaught mode is actually great. It's a great challenge because certainly after the first few levels, floors as they're known, their maps, at each wave they start to open up a new enemy lane, a new spawn point. But you typically get given an extra allocation of DU and your mana to build with. But also there's a whole host of new enemy types in Onslaught, and as you progress, and they also start to have resistances. So it's interesting because it'll challenge you. You have to have a variety of defense types to beat them, because some will be resistant to everything but physical damage, some everything but flame, some everything but lightning, you know, the sort of thing. So if you've got cannon firing regular cannonballs at them and they're resistant to physical, that won't harm them, or it'll do a fraction. I forget, it might do a fraction of the damage. So you've got to put things down then, like auras, nodes, perhaps even there is a possibility you can get your cannonball tower upgraded with what's called a module, something else you can add to relics, which add that property of perhaps fire ability onto that tower, makes it an elemental tower. But that's again some other aspect of the game. So ancient power and the gilding protects against what's called an ancient power reset. So if I don't know if I can do it on here. Is the mana node present in here? I might just bear with me, I'll just nip to town. Here's the mana node. So you unlock ancient power. So if I press this, I'm not going to actually, this won't commit that change. I'll give you an idea of what it does. Warning. Ancient power requires a real sacrifice. You will lose your endgame progression, most of your ascension levels, your shop listings, if you've put anything up for sale, will be reset and returned for free to your inventory, and importantly your gear, anything you've got equipped, and your relics and your shards will be re-rolled down to starting chaos level, so back to chaos level 1. So you might have strived and you've got, let's say, chaos level 5, chaos level 7, 8 even, and you do an ancient power reset. That's going to sacrifice by resetting all your equipped gear and relics back to chaos level 1. Now you can upgrade those again at a cost, as we saw, with medals or gold, but some of those relics and shards can get really expensive every time you do this. Now the benefit of doing this is you gain something called ancient powers. So I've done it 12 times, and if I was to do this I would get 13 points of ancient power to allocate to special attributes. Talent caps related to ascension level would be increased from 397 to 585. The gold you earn on every play session, gold bonus would increase to an extra 65% in each drop. Your XP progression would increase to 65%, or mine rather, and your minimum ascension level would increase from its current, last time I reset was a long time ago, 312 to 564. And then again, this is just a reminder of what gets reset. So all your equipment levels, all non-gilded shard levels, so non-gilded get reset. All your trials progression, partial onslaught progression, not too major deal that one. I'm going to cancel that. Now the ancient powers, if I've got 12 points I could assign, and they're very helpful. They give you a passive boost to various stats, so you can dump all 12 into one of these if you want. So you can have ancient ability, that's your hero abilities. Ancient heroic power, your hero damage increased to 4%. Your health is increased to 4%. And I think that's just for one click, and then it might go up more gradually for each subsequent point. All your resistances, such as your resistance to damage from enemies. Lifesteal, your primary and secondary attacks heal your character for 1% of damage dealt and increasing. Fortification, defense health is increased by 4%. Destruction, defense power is increased by 4%. Ancient strikes, your defense range is increased by 1%. Your builder tower build time, so your construction rate is decreased, so things build faster, which is especially useful if you're building and repairing in combat phase, which is, you'll have noticed if you try it, it's a lot slower than in build phase. So Ancient Builder will decrease the time taken to build and repair things in combat phase. Respawn, if you die during a combat phase, or even a build phase, if you fall off a map, your respawn time is reduced by 12% and get back in the game more quickly. Ancient Defense critical damage is increased by 4%. Your critical chance can be increased by 1% on this one. Your hero critical chance 1%, and your hero crit damage by 4%. So you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 14 categories, which through playing and improving on Onslaught, particularly in Ascension levels, you'll gain points when you add Ancient Power at that sacrifice. So that was a long-winded way of saying, if you go to your inventory and you want to protect these shards when you do an ancient reset, and you don't have to pay for them again and again to upgrade them. You will keep the shard itself, but you have to upgrade them. This mass destruction, by the way, is one I earned through a lot of trial and trauma through the mastery mode. I'm not going to cover that, but that's really, really, really tough. I don't think you have the option of gilding that, because let's see, if you consider this one, and if I go to upgrade the speed boost, it's not that expensive to upgrade as a shard, it doesn't cost that much, but anyway, if I wanted to gild it, what you have to do is you have to have 10 of that shard in your inventory, and this has to be fully upgraded, and once that's fully upgraded to level 8, you're able to upgrade it, or gild it rather, here. So you say this button says select shards, and sometimes this screen does glitch and it doesn't respond, but you would select shards and it go to look in your inventory, see have you got, and it'll show you any number of speed boost shard that you may have, and if you've got 10, you're in business. You select 10, but look at the cost. To implement that, you've got to have 10 shards of that type plus 2,000 medals or 2 million gold. Okay, so that's the cost of gilding, and gilding is important if you want to achieve the maximum potential of your shards, i.e. from 8 max to 12 on this instance, and critically you want to protect it from resets of ancient power. So when you're upgrading your ancient power, if they're not gilded, they're going to get reset, and you pay for all this upgrade again on this side. I think the other thing to note, and I realised after the fact of that shard video, was I think I said, well, if you look and you put this lightning strike sword down with these shards, notwithstanding this one, it's got about 2 million DPS. Now that of course is a combination of the shards plus the actual relic itself. So this is if you notice in the top left, a Chaos 7 level relic. It alone contributes a defense power of 51,000. It also, as you see, 3 modules there. It's got something called Melee Boom, Anti-Chaos, and Anti-Melee servos. They're adding extra damage on top of all else to particular types of enemies. So 2 million is probably nothing like if you say you've got a Chaos 1 shard, sorry, a Chaos 1 relic, and you've got ungilded, but if you put a defense rate on it and you put a destruction on it and a deadly strikes and whatnot, you're not going to get necessarily 2 million on there on your DPS, and you've got to have these sort of combinations to maximize. So the higher you progress up the game, up the chaos levels, up the onslaught, which involve chaos levels as well. Chaos 8 is the maximum. I think so. My Huntress, if I filter for weapons. You see that bow there is actually a Chaos level 8 bow. I haven't got it equipped because that would involve obviously swapping out the current bow. Now the current bow has all those modules on it. Now you can, with expense and other resources, materials as they're known, move the modules from that Chaos 7 bow to this bow to do that kind of thing, and you can do this with relics as well. You can put modules on those. Is, if I can find him, Mr. Where's he gone? Proteus. Professor Proteus, this guy. So the Tinkerer. So what you do, I would put that bow on there, the existing bow, and it will consume the item. The item will disappear, in other words. The tinkered item. Tinkering allows you to take mods from one item and imbue them onto another. Select your 2 items to begin. This is how you select, isn't it? So let's speculate. So I would take this weapon, and from my inventory it's chosen weapons, maybe this one. So select a mod on the left to replace a mod on the right. So I'd be doing possibly all of them. I'd do that one to there, that one to there, that one to there, and you get this cost. But you see this here, this is the material cost of doing this, and these are materials that will start dropping in chaos tier maps that you do, in particular in onslaught mode. You probably get more in there. So you would do this. You would say, I want that to replace that one. You're about to replace a lower chaos level mod to a higher chaos level item. So you make decisions. So this is deemed a higher level. Modules have these ratings of 9. The potential level of this module is 9. You can even upgrade modules as well. But replacing, it's going to warn you, and you make a decision. This one to there wouldn't give you that warning, this one to there, so on. So let's say that one is straightforward, but you might see, does it do? You see the cost going up, and this is the wrong way round, I would say. That means I've got 61 and it's going to cost 8. It's 276 in my inventory, it's going to cost 8. If I take that off, it's going to cost 4. And there, I'm not making any change. But hopefully you get the idea. I don't do this that often. I'm not ultra familiar with it. But yeah, you can upgrade. Choose to keep your preferred weapon if you want to, or this one if that was your preferred weapon, because it's a C8 level with 10,000 cog points on it. You might want it to benefit from these extra modules as well. Now the other question was why for example, I've got 3 monks I've got this one, and this one. The reason being, certainly once you get to level 50 and you start accruing ascension points, this is where extra heroes can be beneficial. Extra versions of the same hero. Marginally beneficial. You've got this concept of ascension points. So I've got a total, because of my experience up to C7 kind of levels and my progression up to floor 70 odd of Onslaught and whatever experience I've accrued over the years I played it, I managed to get up to 522 level ascension. So my character, they're all maxed out at level 50. Your actual hero level stops at level 50 as a maximum. Once you get to 50 you start accruing these ascension points instead. Okay, so you get points and then you can assign them to various attributes. So you've got your offense, your hero's abilities, and health and attack power, but his abilities can benefit as well. Now the reason I've got 3 monks is I want one to specialise in this one, in this case is this Skyguard tower. So I'm going to dump a load of points into that Skyguard damage value. And maybe a bit more health on the Skyguard. I'm also going to increase, that's pretty common to them all, the defense speed. So further increasing your defense. All defenses gain 35% attack rate, which is wonderful. Furthermore, you see on this side I've put some points into the Skyguard slowing effect, so increasing that by 2 seconds. And a little bit on this one. This one's a sort of a give and take improvement, so it increases the range at the cost of some defense power. So you increase the range and loses an equivalent amount of defense power, but your defense power through other means could be massive. So that 930 is probably incidental, so 930 on the range is very valuable to have. I'll also dump some into crit damage, crit chance for the defense. And the hero is quite active, so I might give the hero movement speed, blah blah blah, and their crit chance, crit damage, their ability mana, that kind of thing. But I'm going to be, for specialism on defences, I'm going to be building and putting a lot of points into the chosen defence. So that, you notice I've nothing in the flame aura, nothing in the lightning strikes, and nothing in the boost. However, if I have my other, and I don't tend to use flame auras a lot in the game, so this one's like a starter project. Going to the ascension points, you see my emphasis has shifted to the flame aura damage, flame aura health. This is common, like I said, that applies to all that this hero would build. If he was to build anything else, if he was to build his Sky Guards and boot, they would all get a defense rate increase. But I'm focusing him on a flame aura. Same over here, pretty much same over here. And of course, this guy, his focus is on the lightning strike aura. Not so bothered about his health, but that's adequate. Some shards you get can actually utilize the underlying health of a tower and aura to actually boost the power by a percentage of that health. Sometimes it is beneficial to boost health when you don't really think you need it, depending on your choices of shards that you've allocated and things like that. So ascension points accrued when you reach level 50 and upwards. Well, you lock at level 50, you start accruing ascension points. And I recommend you do, because it's more interesting because of the changeable nature of Onslaught levels. It'll throw you curveballs, do ancient power resets, but try and make sure, especially if you've been upgrading, a given relic, you can't guild these, I don't think. No, you guild shards. So your chosen shard of importance, if you've been, as I have here, it's quite costly to keep re-upgrading using this side of the upgrade method. Quite costly to get to max on a defense rate shard. Destruction probably a bit less in value, but if you've got in your hero deck, as I do, I've got more than one squire. Ignore this one, but more than one squire. This guy he's specialising in his barricades, so he's got a lot of his ascension points into the defence health of his wall. This guy specialises in the offensive towers of his ballista or cannon. So that's covered, hopefully. Shards. So a quick recap. Upgrade shards to get the best stats out of them. Further upgrade them and protect them by gilding them, but you'll need 10 of that shard and at least 2,000 medals or 2 million gold. So a cost of 10 defense rate shards, spare ones that you've got in your inventory, that is. They don't need to be upgraded or anything, it doesn't matter. And 2,000 of these, or 2 million of gold. 2,000 defense medals, your defense medals. So upgrade your shards and protect them if they're important to you to carry on and persist game after game. And indeed, ancient power reset after reset, because you can imagine those powers can get pretty powerful. In fact, when I was doing, only recently I've realised, when I was preparing the various user guides, so I started at Gates of Dragonfall at character level 1, as you do as a new player. I forgot that I had 12 ancient powers assigned. So actually the DPS and certain stats I was getting on a bare bones flame aura, that a starting flame aura that like you would have, my DPS for that flame aura as a starting point was I think from memory 370, whereas I've realised, of course, that's benefiting from some of these stat boosts here. I've reset this now, so it's no longer applying stat boosts of ancient power. So in my upcoming, I mean, I've got 2 more already done and scheduled, so they will still have that benefit. But for the following videos, I will make sure that I don't have the ancient power benefit, because that's not fair. That's not like for like representation of what you guys are beginners are playing with. So I hope that's given you a bit of insight into shards, upgrading shards, a bit of an aside there into materials and moving around the modules you may find on given drops. I think now, let me just have a look. You see, nowadays you've got a material shop. So if you go to the materials shop, you can buy materials, and you know, quantities of them. These are normally dropping in given chaos levels and onslaught levels. So these will be variable in cost. You see there, that's a Chaos 2 Ampule, 100 medals. Or don't use this because that's real money. You've had to pay real money to get gems. Don't do that. Earn those medals. Again, emphasizing, do the daily missions. That's where you're going to get the maximum amount of medal rewards for a simple task. Once you're a bit advanced, you can start doing the weekly missions, which tend to be the incursion level maps, which are a bit trickier, and they tend to be Chaos 1 and up as a basis level difficulty. But yeah, the devs added your shard shop that I mentioned, so you earn your medals, buy target a given shard. If you want to guild a single defense rate, for example, you're gonna have to go, where is it? I think you can search for them. Was it there? Well, let's say Deadly Strikes, because I can see it. If you were to buy, you'd need to buy 10 of those, or be lucky, and they drop in the levels that you're playing. It's a Chaos 3 level shard, so you'd have to be playing Chaos level 3 map or above, on Chaos level 3 difficulty or above, then this would have a chance of dropping. I say chance because look at all these other shards that are in Chaos 3. There's going to be, I think, 33 of them at last count, something like that. But also in a Chaos 3 map you can also find dropping items from Chaos level below it. So Chaos 2 levels, any of these could drop, any of the Chaos level 1, and any indeed of the standard shards could drop in a Chaos 3. So it's minimal, you've minimal chance of actually a Deadly Strikes one dropping. So you're best targeting them. You can do this for less money. You can do 500 random shards from Chaos 3. So that would be random among these 30 odd. And you might get one of those, you might not. You might get 2 of these. 2 of those and you might not even have the Barbarian. You know? So if you accumulate 1,000 defense medals, you can buy the specific shard you want. So it saves you a significant amount of what we call grind, of replaying those Chaos tier maps over and over, just on the off chance you might get a drop. This random method is half the price, but again you've a less chance of getting the one you want. So I hope that's covered some of the questions that were asked in my Shards video. Thanks for watching. If you haven't seen the rest and you're a new player, if you look at the series I've made called on my playlist on my channel called I don't know, Dungeon Defenders 2 New Player Guide series or something similar. Indeed, if you're watching this video or the most recent videos, I've tried to put in the top right as the videos beginning what they call a teaser card, which will appear, which gives you a pointer to that series so you can quickly link to it. Otherwise, go to my channel, go to my playlist on my channel, and you should readily find the DD2 Players Guide. It's got the familiar icon thumbnail. And with that, I'll leave you and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching this one. Catch you later.